the rise of antidepressants, and a silent epidemic. Hello there. Tonight we're diving into the often overlooked world of antidepressants. These little pills have become a staple in many households, often seen as a quick fix for a range of emotional and psychological issues. Now, before you reach for the remote, thinking, John's gone full-on depressing again, hear me out. This isn't just another gloomy story, it's a crucial conversation we need to have. This isn't just about feeling a bit down, it's about understanding the broader implications of a medical issue that's often swept under the rug. Antidepressants, they're everywhere these days. Feeling a bit blue? Pop a pill. Stressed out pill, cat acting weird? You guessed it, there's probably a pill for that too. But what if I told you there's a hidden side effect? Something so severe, some people say it's worse than death. You guessed it, there's probably a pill for that too. But what if I told you there's a hidden side effect, something so severe, some people say it's worse than death? We're talking about persistent sexual dysfunction, often triggered by a class of antidepressants known as SSRIs. These medications, while effective for many, come with a dark side that isn't often discussed. We're talking about persistent sexual dysfunction, often triggered by a class of antidepressants known as SSRIs. It's a side effect that can stick around long after you stop taking the medication. Imagine dealing with this long-term consequence, something that can deeply affect your quality of life. It's like finding a $20 bill stuck to your shoe, only to realize it's glued there, permanently. You think it's a lucky find, but it turns out to be a constant, annoying reminder. Now, I know what you're thinking, John. You're being a bit dramatic, but trust me, this is serious stuff. The impact of post-SSRI sexual dysfunction, or PSSD, is profound and can be life-altering. So buckle up, folks, because tonight we're tackling the silent epidemic of post-SSRI sexual dysfunction, or PSSD. We'll explore what it is, why it happens, and what can be done about it. Stay tuned, because this is information you won't want to miss. Right. Let's break this down. SSRIs, or selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, are like the cool kids in the world of antidepressants. They're prescribed for everything from depression and anxiety to obsessive-compulsive disorder. But how do they work? Picture your brain as a bustling city with neurons sending messages using serotonin, a chemical messenger responsible for mood, sleep, and yes, even sexual function. SSRIs act like traffic cops, slowing down the reabsorption of serotonin, making more of it available in those tiny synaptic gaps. It's like giving your brain a constant serotonin hug. Sounds great, right? Well, here's the catch. While SSRIs can be incredibly helpful for some, they can also mess with your body's delicate chemical balance, especially when it comes to your love life or lack thereof. See, serotonin isn't just about happiness. It plays a crucial role in sexual function. And when you mess with serotonin, you mess with everything. It's like trying to fine-tune a piano with a sledgehammer. You might hit a few right notes, but you're going to cause some serious damage along the way. One of the most common side effects of SSRIs is sexual dysfunction, which can include everything from decreased libido to difficulty achieving orgasm. This can put a strain on relationships, adding another layer of stress to someone already dealing with mental health issues. It's important to have an open dialogue with your healthcare provider about these potential side effects. There are other types of antidepressants that might be a better fit for you, depending on your specific needs and how your body reacts. Keeping track of your symptoms and side effects can help your doctor make the best decision for your treatment plan. And remember, medication is just one part of the puzzle. Therapy, lifestyle changes, and mindfulness practices can also play a significant role in managing your mental health. The goal is to find a balance that works for you, so you can live your life to the fullest. If you're struggling, don't hesitate to reach out for help. There are resources available to support you on your journey to better mental health. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room, or rather, the unwelcome guest in the bedroom, post-SSRI sexual dysfunction, or PSSD. This isn't your typical oops, not tonight, honey situation. It's a debilitating condition that can rob you of your sexual desire, your ability to perform, and even your ability to feel pleasure. Imagine this. You're young, you're prescribed an SSRI for anxiety, and suddenly you feel like someone hit the off switch on your libido. You're no longer interested in sex. Even worse, when you try, nothing happens. Your equipment just doesn't work the way it used to. But it doesn't stop there. PSSD can also cause genital numbness, making sex feel like, well, nothing at all. It's like trying to play a video game with a broken controller. You're there, but you're not really experiencing anything. And the worst part? This can last for months, years, or even become a lifelong sentence long after you've stopped taking the medication. Section 4. Ignored warnings and a legacy of suffering, a historical perspective. So how did we get here? Why haven't we heard more about this? Well, it turns out the alarm bells have been ringing for decades, but nobody seemed to be listening, or at least not loudly enough. Reports of sexual side effects from SSRIs first surfaced in the 1990s, shortly after these drugs hit the market. But these reports were often dismissed as anecdotal, brushed aside like an unwelcome houseguest. Fast forward to today, and the evidence is mounting. Studies are confirming what patients have been saying all along. SSRIs can cause persistent sexual dysfunction, and in some cases, it can be permanent. But here's the kicker. Despite the growing body of evidence, regulatory agencies like the FDA have been slow to act. It's like watching a building slowly catch fire while the fire department sips tea and debates the color of the flames. Section 5. The fight for recognition, lawsuits, advocacy, and the search for justice. Fortunately, it's not all doom and gloom. Patients are fighting back, demanding recognition and accountability. Lawsuits have been filed against pharmaceutical companies, accusing them of downplaying the risks and misleading the public. Advocacy groups like the PSSD network are raising awareness, providing support to those affected, and pushing for more research. They're the unsung heroes in this story, shining a light on a problem that's been hidden in the shadows for far too long. And it's not just happening in the US. Countries like Canada and France have taken steps to address PSSD, updating their drug labels to include clearer warnings about the potential for persistent sexual side effects. They're basically the responsible friend who cuts you off after one too many tequila shots, while the US is over there egging you on to do a tequila slammer with a raw egg. Section 6. It Stole My Life. The heartbreaking reality of PSSD. But beyond the statistics and the legal battles are real people whose lives have been shattered by this condition. People like Sarah, a young woman who was prescribed an SSRI for anxiety after a stressful period in her life. I thought it would help me get back on track, she says, but it ended up derailing my life completely. Sarah, like countless others, experienced debilitating sexual side effects that persisted long after she stopped taking the medication. It's like my body betrayed me, she says, her voice breaking. I feel broken. Then there's Mark, a middle-aged man who was prescribed an SSRI for depression. I used to enjoy a healthy sex life with my wife, he says. But now, it's like that part of me is gone. It's put a huge strain on our marriage. These are just two stories among thousands. Each one a stark reminder of the human cost of PSSD, a silent epidemic that's stealing lives and destroying relationships. Section 7. Breaking the Silence, a call for action and a plea for hope. This is a crucial moment, a turning point where we must come together to address a pressing issue. So, where do we go from here? How do we move forward in a way that ensures the well-being of all affected? Well, folks, it's time to break the silence. It's time to bring this conversation to the forefront of our discussions. We need to talk about PSSD openly and honestly. This means having candid conversations with our healthcare providers and within our communities. We need to educate doctors, patients, and the public about the risks associated with SSRIs. This education should be comprehensive, covering both the benefits and the potential side effects. We need more research to understand the underlying mechanisms of PSSD and to develop effective treatments. This research should be well-funded and prioritized to find solutions as quickly as possible. And most importantly, we need regulatory agencies to step up, acknowledge the problem, and take meaningful action to protect patients. This includes updating guidelines and ensuring that warnings are clear and accessible. This isn't about demonizing antidepressants, it's about balance and transparency. For many, these medications are a lifeline, a beacon of hope in the darkness. They provide relief and stability for those struggling with mental health issues. But it's about ensuring that patients are fully informed about the potential risks, both short-term and long-term. Informed consent is a fundamental right that must be upheld. It's about giving a voice to those who have suffered in silence for too long, Their stories need to be heard and validated. It's about demanding better from our healthcare system, from our regulatory agencies, and from the pharmaceutical industry. We must hold these entities accountable for the safety and well-being of patients. Because everyone deserves a life filled with joy, connection, and yes, even a little bit of pleasure. These are fundamental aspects of human experience that should not be compromised. And that's something worth fighting for. Together, we can create a future where health and happiness go hand in hand and where every